everybody, and welcome back to my channel. And today I've got a bit of a different article for you. It's a true crime article, and it's about a woman called Melissa Doss, and she's from Florida. And the title of the article is "Florida Woman 43 is Arrested After Keeping a Non-Verbal Child with Autism in a Cage in Her Home Littered with Filth." The article was written by Matt McNully from thedailymail.com, and it was uploaded onto their site yesterday. So I thought, as an autistic woman and as a disabled woman, it'd be good to talk about, and everything that I will say will be read from the article directly and my own opinion. So I will link both the article down below so you can read more about what the article actually says, but I'm reading the article direct from the website as it's worded and giving you my own spin on it towards the end of this video, so stay tuned. Melissa Doss was arrested and charged with 2 felony counts of child neglect without bodily harm and aggravated child abuse and aggravated assault. She was quoted to say, "If you saw the inside of my residence, the Department of Children and Families would be called." Doss could be heard yelling from inside her property. When authorities finally gained entry into the Doss home, they were instantly hit with the smell of feces and urine, which was strongly present throughout the whole property. Officers noted also mould and bags of trash about the place, including bugs, spiders and flies were seen throughout the property, adding that there was no part of the floor was actually noticeable or visible within the property when they got there. Doss is being held currently on a $22,500 bond following her arrest, according to Brevard Records. So I don't know who they are, but according to them, yeah, that is her bail amount. And it says a Florida woman who is accused of child abuse says she was at the end of her rope when she was allegedly locked a young girl with non-verbal severely autism inside a cage in her home, which was littered with garbage. Palm Bay police say that they have responded to Doss Fillmore Avenue home several times in the past. However, the exact dates and details and results of these investigations still to this day remain unclear. Responding officers quickly determined that the young girl, who cannot speak, had some form of disability before discovering she had autism, and that she lived at the residence next door to the property. Doss refused the police entry into her home, instead climbing over her back garden fence to greet them. The home, described by police as totally uninhabitable, did not have working bathrooms or any running water. So, yeah. Child Protective Services eventually learned that the child was made to sleep in a homemade metal and wood cage, which she kept next to the bed, where inside this cage was a pillow and blanket. Doss even admitted that she'd only let her out at night because the girl screamed at her in the morning. So questions that I've got for this article and my own opinions is: 1, where is the father of all this? 2, why have the authorities not stepped in before now? As an autistic woman, I am utterly humiliated and horrified that she has been abusing a non-verbal, severely autistic young girl. What was she doing, this young girl, in her property? Was she made a parent of this young girl? Was this young girl just staying with her temporarily? There's no answers to these kind of questions. By abusing her and making her sleep in a metal cage is treating her like she's an animal and she's dangerous. I've heard so many stories like this before. It needs to stop. It's abuse. It's disgusting. It's mental torture, physical torture, making her sleep in a bed full of spiders and flies and garbage. It's just disgusting. It's mental and physical torture. It's absolutely disgraceful. And I don't understand why she was left in the property to sleep in this kind of arrangement. The property that smelled of feces and urine. Now, this is a health risk, not just to her, but to the woman herself. Why would you stay in a property that smelled of urine and feces? That's going to cause you severe health issues, regardless of who you are. It's just going to be a really big problem. Why didn't she have the Children and Family Services take the child away sooner out of the property for her own health and own physical and mental well-being? Why weren't the services involved in removing the child way before it was recently done? Also, why wasn't the mum offered any kind of mental health support, or why didn't the mum reach out to mental health support and say clearly that she wasn't coping? As she says recently, she was at the end of her rope when it comes to look after that child. So why wasn't she offered any kind of mental health support or something that could have helped her look after the child better as well as herself? Clearly she had some kind of mental health issues or mental health struggle that stopped her being the suitable parent, or problems that just became too much for her to cope with. There's a lot of things that I just don't agree with this article. I think there's a lot more questions that need to be found out. Also, why was the young child not in education? Why was the child left at home with this woman during the day and at night? Why was she locked in the cage at night time? What was she doing with the child during the day? Again, this is a question that remains unclear. What was she doing with this child? Was it just being abused at night, or was the child being abused all day, all night? Again, there's questions like this that need to be answered. She needs to be held accountable for what she was doing to this poor child. I can't imagine how the poor child is suffering and having mental torture, flashbacks, anything of that nature. It's just absolute outrageous. But I can understand that maybe the mum wasn't coping and such, but still, it's not okay to abuse an autistic child. It just isn't. It's just the way it is. You are going to get yourself legally in trouble. It is cruelty. It is abuse. Fact, period. It is abuse. It's not okay, regardless of the child's autistic, disabled, non-disabled, visually disabled, impairment with hearing, whatnot. It's just totally not okay. It totally isn't. It's just absolute outrageous. So what are my thoughts as an autistic woman? Well, I have lots to say. It's totally heartbreaking. And it sucks that this lady was allowed to get away with abusing an autistic, vulnerable, disabled child, for one. And two, why was the mum left with this young girl in her house? Where was the other parent? Because the child, it says that the child lived next door. So where was the other parent, the proper parent of the young child? Was the mother away? Was she deceased or what? Because it doesn't say why this young girl ended up with Melissa in the first place. And also, you never mistreat someone, regardless of how bad your property gets, or regardless of who you are as a person. It's not okay to abuse a child. It's just, you need help. You should have had help. The system obviously failed you, and you obviously didn't ask enough for support. And clearly you were at the end of your rope. I'm not knocking the woman. I'm really not. I'm trying not to attack her. I'm trying to keep a very neutral basis on this thing. And I think it's just very, very sad that an autistic child, again, has been put through this. Again, a child who's not able to speak her mind. She's not able to physically communicate that she was being abused. And it's just about providing support. Like, if you are at the end of your tether with an autistic child, or you have a disabled child of any sort, whether it's autism, Down syndrome, any of that kind of stuff, please go and seek help. Don't sit here and struggle. And I know that it's not okay to abuse people in general, not just children, but this is just very close to my heart, obviously, because I'm autistic and I struggle with everyday living. I struggle to sometimes look after myself, but for the most part, I do have a fantastic support network. So clearly this woman was failed. Clearly there was an issue behind the scenes that we don't know about, but I will attach a video. Since this article was released, she has actually been formally charged. I will link the video from CBS down in the description, and I look forward to hearing your comments in the comment section below, and I shall see you soon, guys. Bye!